To our mayor, to our clerk and treasurer in their absence, our chief of staff, city attorney, administrative directors, bond counsel. Today is Monday, June 9, 2025, and this is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Study Session. This meeting is to discuss the 2017 CIP bond refunding. At this time, we'll have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
We know that Councilman Barden is absent.
Correct. He's excused.
So noted. Councilman Kraut.
Here.
Councilman Jones.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
And Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Madam Chair, there's a quorum for tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Tonight's special meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, roll call. 2, agenda. 3, discussion of 2017 CIP bond refunding. 4, public comment. And number 5 is adjournment. Motion will be in order to accept tonight's special meeting agenda as presented.
So moved. Can I get a second? Who was that? Oh, Mr. Jones. It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Jones for the approval of this special meeting. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. We are now in discussion. To lead discussion is our Director of Finance, Maria Ferris.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Chief of Staff, Administrative Staff, President, and City Attorney. As DeJean said, today we are here to talk about the potential refunding of the 2017 bonds. Tonight in attendance, we have our bond counsel, who is Pat McGow, as well as Bill Roche, and he is our managing director. They are here. I'm going to start with Pat. He's going to go into his discussion, and then we will lead into additional information from Bill Roche.
Okay, thank you, Maria.
Mr.
Wadsworth?
Could you back up on exactly what you said about we're going to redo our bonds?
We're going to discuss a refinancing
Of the bonds that are still out there?
of one of the bond issues that was done in 2017.
Okay.
So for introduction, I'm Pat McGow. I think I know most of you. I've been involved in all of the city's bond issues for the last couple decades. And it's been a little while since we've done one of these, and some of you are newer faces. But essentially, as Maria said, the item here tonight that we're talking about is a refinancing of the bonds that were issued in 2017 for the district court facility. So some of you may recall there were 2 bond issues that year. One was for the Amazon infrastructure to support that facility. We're talking tonight about the district court building only, although there's a chance that if interest rates improve, a refinancing of the Amazon project and or even the 2014 water bonds might also become economically feasible. So the way this works is this. As you may recall, the city issued bonds in 2017 to pay to construct the district court. Those bonds are payable from some of the court revenues that come. There's various agreements, the FUF fund and some of those things. The idea was that the court revenues would pay to cover the debt service, but the city issued the bonds and pledged its limited tax full faith and credit to support the bonds. So they are essentially issued by the city, and the city is on the hook for the debt service. So when those bonds were issued, they were issued as 20-year bonds, and there is the ability to call them in early, starting in August of this year. Now, as you may know, municipal bonds, when they're initially sold, are not immediately callable. It's usually not until you get about 8 to 10 years out before they're able to be called in early, which gives you an opportunity to refinance at a lower cost. So the idea is that interest rates have come down enough, and we have less years on the bonds, that the current market would allow a refinancing to essentially save on the debt service on the bonds. Bill is the financial advisor who will talk about the numbers. I'm just going to talk briefly about the process and where we're at. So this is not too different than when you refinance your mortgage. You know, if you've ever had a mortgage and interest rates come down, you get a new mortgage and pay off the old one. The difference, though, is that when you're refinancing bonds, you can't pay off the old bonds right away. You have to wait until the first call date, and then you have to wait and give the bondholders 30 days notice. There's a little bit of a timing gap. But the idea is that we would be looking to have the city authorize a new bond issue to be used to pay off the old bond issue. And then that would also pay the issuance costs related to the bond issue, and then allow for the bonds, old bonds, to be paid off within about 30 days after the closing. When Bill's going to talk about savings, when we do this, we don't know what's going to happen in the market between now and a month or two from now when we would be able to sell the bonds. So what we do is we would have the city council, not tonight, but at your next meeting, consider approving a bond resolution to authorize bonds in an amount not to exceed X dollars to refinance those bonds. That will give us the green light to go ahead and get official statements ready, talk to the rating agencies, and be teed up in a position to sell the bonds at some point down the road. And if the market gets worse and the savings disappear, we can always put it on pause. If the market's still good, then we can sell the bonds and lock in those savings. And when I say lock in the savings, we will know at the bond sale, because this will also be a fixed rate bond issue, we'll know at that time what those interest rate savings are and be able to calculate what that is. So that's essentially how the process works. It's really one step at the city council, which would be to approve a bond resolution, and then it delegates the authority to the city administration, mayor, finance director, and others to take the necessary steps to go ahead with the bond sale. My role in this, as your bond counsel, would be I prepare the resolution, assist with the disclosure document, and give the legal opinion that everything was done legally, it's valid, binding, enforceable, and most importantly, it's tax exempt to the holders of the bonds, which allows you to get a lower interest rate. Bill Roach, who will come up here in a minute, is the city's financial advisor. He and his colleague have worked on prior city bond issues. His role is to advise you on the financial side of it. So he would prepare the official statement, he would interact with the bond purchasers, assess the market to determine whether to proceed with that bond sale or not. So I do the legal documents, Bill does the financial documents. So with that, I think I'm going to stop talking and let Bill talk about what the numbers look like and what we're thinking about here, and then we can talk about timing and any other questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Once again, I'm Bill Roach. I've worked with my partner and myself as your municipal advisor, financial advisor, for over a decade now. We've been monitoring the opportunity to refund these bonds going back to last September. As Pat had mentioned, your first ability to prepay these bonds is November 1st, 2025. And federal tax law limits you to 90 days prior to that. So when the market was better last September and October, we could not have refinanced back then. We have to do it no more than that 90-day window. So the earliest we could close this transaction and hopefully lock in savings for you would be August 1st or 2nd of this summer. So that's within that 90-day window of November 1st. As of right now, we are looking at a potential savings of over $1 million over the life of the transaction, or roughly $60,000 a year reduction in your debt service. We are going to recommend a negotiated sale for the sale of the bonds. With this being very interest rate sensitive, a negotiated sale allows you the maximum amount of flexibility to get in the market. If we were ready to price and the market was bad, there's a lot of political and economic things that have affected interest rates over the last 90 days, especially back in April. The market can move dramatically, and if we were set to sell with a competitive sale, you're locked in. But with a negotiated sale, all we do is tell the underwriter we're not going to price today, we're going to look for a stronger market. So that literally allows us to get into the market and price your bonds within 24-hour notice in order to take advantage of a strong market which impacts your savings. We are going to ask that the potential refinancing of the 2014 capital improvement and the 2017A. When we ran numbers back in September, there was savings on those. So, but once again, the market moved away dramatically from you in April. If the market moves in your favor and there is savings on either of those transactions, then you have the flexibility of including those. and it makes more sense because both of them are smaller transactions with an interest rate of 4% versus the 2017 B bonds, which are 5%. So that's why the fees with the courthouse work so well. So if the market does move in your favor, we have the ability to include those. If there is no savings or the savings are not sufficient, they'll just get put on hold, then we'll monitor the market, and if things move in your favor, we'll come back. If not, there's nothing negative to the city. Normally, this is a, how should we say, a fairly easy process. There aren't costs incurred by the city until the transaction gets done. The only time where there may be a cost is if we go out, we print the official statement, get ready to price the bonds, we have the rating, and for some reason the market tanks and there's no savings, we don't do the deal. If the rating agency has issued their rating, they want to get paid. And we're talking about 15 to 20. That's sort of the worst case scenario, is that we got the rating, we went out and the market moved completely, there aren't any savings, and it doesn't come back. So that is the potential worst case scenario. Other than that, everyone else knows there's no, we work on the if come. If the transaction works and it's beneficial and it closes, you get your savings, then the rest of the expenses. So that's the worst case scenario. I haven't had one happen in probably 20 years. And ultimately, we ended up doing it about 12 months later. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have on the numbers side of it.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
With the market so volatile as it is this really a good time to do this? I mean, could we get stung from, you know how one day the market is fine, the next day it crashes?
Yep. Well, number one, I think that's why we're recommending a negotiated sale. Number two is, based on $1 million worth of savings, the present value savings on the transaction, when we take the annual savings and present value of them today, is roughly 6.5%. Department of Treasury usually likes to see something in a 2 to 3% range. So my recommendation as your municipal advisor, if you can get $1 million in savings right now, given the volatile market, I wouldn't try to play the market and let's see if rates improve 6 months from now. I've had too many transactions that got put on hold, waiting for better markets, that had very strong savings in February, March, and then when April hit, gone. So the worst case, in my opinion, is you have an opportunity to save over $1 million right now. Worst case scenario is market gets worse and it doesn't come back and those savings just go away. And the only reason that we have that opportunity is because of the interest rate, those 5% coupons versus roughly a 3.25% right now that we're looking at. So that would be my recommendation is you've got a good market right now, your deal works, it provides significant savings, and I would not recommend that we try to get a higher level of savings by waiting for a better market.
Thank you.
Ms. Taylor?
Mr. Wadsworth?
We're going to save $1 million over the life of the bonds, or?
Correct.
Okay, and they're paid off in
2042 is your final payment.
I'll be 98, but I'll still be there. So this is going to make our payments smaller every
Correct.
year?
About $60,000 a year.
Okay. And if something in the future comes up, we could do this again?
These bonds would be callable probably 9 years from now. So yeah, it is possible. I mean, I've been in this business 44 years. I've refinanced bonds, 2-3 times that were sold, we did 20, 30 years ago. So in theory, yeah, you could refinance these again in another 8, 9, 10 years
Okay.
if the
All
market
right.
is such that it
Sounds
works.
good to me.
Any other questions? Okay, yeah. Yeah, sounds great. No, thank you. We're good up here, it sounds like.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, there's a
Thank
lot
you.
of upside and not a lot of downside.
Yeah.
What about
okay.
the senior place in the rack? They're not bonded, are
I'm sorry?
the rack will be paid off next year.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, I'll jump on that. So these are the only 3 outstanding bond issues that are really candidates for refinancing. As the mayor said, the rack is going to be paid off in another year or 2. A lot of the other debt was paid off. And again, it's, the timing is, it has to be callable, and you have to have enough still outstanding and enough of a gap in the interest rates to make it worthwhile.
All right, fine.
So right now, only the court makes sense, but it's possible that the 2014, which was water projects, and 2017A, which was the Amazon project, might make sense too. And just to play that out for a second, it may be that we do the court refinancing this summer, and then next spring, rates have gone down enough that those other 2 might be candidates for refinancings. But to your point, every year you're paying off more debt, at that higher rate. So at some point, yeah, rates might be lower than they are in the future, but, you don't know that the answer is what was the best time to do it until afterwards. So it's sort of, do you wait for what you think is going to be a better market in 6 to 12 to 18 months, or do you take advantage of the savings that you can lock in and have more debt that you're able to refinance? So, and as Bill said, go back to the Government Finance Officers Association says it's worth doing if you have savings of somewhere between 2 to 5%. Different communities have different standards, but it's certainly at 6% savings right now, and that's payment after all the issuance costs. That is something that, the industry standard would be that would be a deal movable.
Yeah, that is important. The savings are after you've paid all the cost of issuance, so it's a net savings.
And so like, Ms. Roscoe, you had a comment?
I did. Thank you for coming and bringing all this to us, but thank you for also explaining it very simplistically where, it makes total sense. And instead of just start, there's all kinds of numbers on here, and you guys just put it all in a nutshell, and I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And just for clarity's sake, you said what makes a bond candidate is that it's callable and the outstanding balance is so much. So what would make the 2014 and the 2017 eligible?
Well, the coupon rates on the 2014 and the 2017A are only 4%.
Okay,
And the coupon rate, or your interest rate, if you would, on the courthouse is 5%. So the spread between your new cost of funds and your old cost just isn't enough to cover the cost of issuance.
okay.
We would need rates to drop about 100 basis points to be pretty much close to where we were in March or February of this year in order to make those. They're also much shorter, so if rates did drop, there's a higher probability that when rates drop, it'll be on the short end of the yield curve. So when they lower the Fed funds rate, that brings down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year paper. So that's why, so that's it, a 4% interest rate versus a 5% interest rate on courthouse bonds.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I think that's everything. Thank you, gentlemen.
Through the chair.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Just
Mayor.
one quick comment. First of all, I want to thank you guys for coming here and doing a great presentation, but first and foremost, being able to sniff this one out. Maria, we watch all the time, and your team is watching this, the court costs and the bond for that building. We know how important it is, and I think we've righted some things, we've done some things internally to make sure we're okay and we're breathing easier. But anytime you can put steps in place and save an additional $1 million, I think we all agree it's worth looking into. So thank you for, finding this deal and bringing it to us. Hopefully the interest rates stay where they need to be, and we can pull this thing off and save, $1 million. But I also want to comment too, you mentioned a couple times the Amazon project. That was all for infrastructure. It wasn't for the building at all. I just don't want somebody watching this to go like, oh, they did bond out the Amazon. No private dollars. That was all infrastructure that we keep, so.
Yeah, I meant to say, I think the infrastructure for the road is really as well.
Yep. So thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no more discussion from council, number 4 is public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those in the audience who would like to address the city council regarding tonight's special meeting agenda. If you would like to address the city council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chair, approach the podium and state your name. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson.
Anyone want to speak from, in the audience? Okay. Thank you. If you can come forward and state your name. Mm-hmm.
For a council meeting or for the?
Huh?
Was it for a council meeting or this meeting?
Oh, is this for council? This is a special meeting. Did you need it for council, or this is a special meeting? For the bond refunding? No. Okay, the council starts at 7:30. Okay, okay, thank you, Mayor. So let's close that out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 5 is adjournment. The time is 7:06.
So moved.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, to adjourn this special meeting. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mrs. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.